Hello everyone, Kevin from K-Tech Services, back again for another educational digitizing video. On today's video, we're going to talk about off-centering your design. Currently right now, if you see this Bear Anderson design, the center is actually here, but the customer sent me this file and asked me about, oh, I want it to be here. I don't want it to be, obviously it's taking the proportional of the design and centering it correctly. But the fact is, they want to off-center it because they're putting this on a hat and they want it right down the seam of the 6 panel, let's say. But we need to move that off, or actually tell the design that we don't want it to center here, we want it to center here. Okay, so working with today with Wilcom Digital Edition, okay, just so you know. So your Wilcom might be slightly a little different, but should be somewhat the same. Um, so right now the profile that we have is set to Tajima. We need to reset this because the customer actually has Melco machinery. So the first thing we're going to go do, if you know, watch any of my videos, we go to design and we go to select machine format, and then we need to set it for the correct machine that we're working with today. And today we're working with Melco. So we're going to make sure we click on Melco and click OK. And at the top, it's going to set those profile for them for a Melco machine. So when we output this to an embroidery stitch format file, it'll actually put the parameters for a Melco because we don't want it to format, or we don't want it to give Tajima parameters because we're not working with Tajima today. We're working with Melco. Okay. All right. So how do we go about a couple things here? So obviously you might not see the start and stop show up on your screen here. So the first thing we got to do is go to setup and go to options. Okay. And then under view design, click on that. And then at the bottom, you'll see this where it says show auto start and end. And of course, I'll just uncheck mine for a minute. And then of course, obviously you're not going to see that. There's crosshairs are there, but again, that's how we turn that on so we can see the start and end parameters. So we'll go back into setup options and we'll go back to view design. We turn that on. So those show up. Okay, cool. The other thing too, now granted, I'm a little bit different, you know, and I know everybody has their own ways. So I like to put my crosshairs, and I'll show you why I like to do that. So under setup again, options, actually in the general and stuff like that, it's actually right here. It's crosshairs. Now yours might not be checked, but I actually checked this, and this is a reason why I'll show you in a sec here. Okay, so now we need to actually, I want to place the start and end like right over here. Or actually, you can put this anywhere you like, but how to do that is we need to go over to design and then go where it says auto start and end. Now yours might be set up a little bit differently here, but obviously mine's all set up to do automatic center. Okay, but we don't want to do that because we want to tell it to go. We want to tell it where we want to actually place the start and end. Okay, now to do that is take off maintain automatically, and then right here, this one here, digitize start and end. That's the one you want. And then go ahead and click OK. And now it's going to think, see, this is why I picked the crosshairs, because I like this. So what I could do is I could zoom in on this. I'm using my mouse and I'm zooming in on. And now it's telling me that, okay, where do you want me to, where does, you're telling Wilcom, okay, I'm sorry, Wilcom is asking you, where do you want me to place the start and end? Okay, so then this is the reason why I put the crosshairs, because I can actually line that up where that, now that's somewhat center in a way, but it might not be what you want, but you know, and I want it like right there, boom. See how easy that was? Okay, and now that actually is where the new start is. So when we file and save all this stuff, now that actually is going to work just fine. So um, I can we could do that you know, obviously we could go to export now. Well, obviously make sure you save your work. I'm going to save it as an EMB, but then I'm going to output it as a machine file, and we'll name it like that, and that's cool. And we'll just go ahead and save, and as a Melco expanded file. Let's see. Okay, and that's it. And then now you can actually bring that back in. It should actually, if you go to recents, it should. Here it is, right here. And now that's an expanded version and stuff. So then now you can kind of see where the start and there it is. Okay, if we want to, we can actually bring up, and now you can actually see that it's actually going to return here. This is just the stitch list, and then now it's actually, you can kind of see, you can actually move through the stitches if you like, kind of make sure that if that's what you're, obviously there's the lock stitch right here. at the last of the stitch of the end, and then it goes up there right there. And of course, obviously, if that's where you want it, you just keep playing with it. Let's say, well, let me go back to this one here. This is actually the one that's an EMB. And then say I don't like that. You could do the same thing over again. All you have to do is go back into design, go to auto start end, and then all you have to do is just click OK again, and then then the mode kicks back in. Let's say I don't want it there. I want it a little bit up. See, and then you save it. Okay, and then you save it as an EMB, and then save it as an expand, and then you output it to expanded, so you can send it to your machine to kind of stitch it out and kind of see how that works. Um, that's it, my friends. That's it of this video. I appreciate it. A thumbs up and a like, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you for stopping by.